Hi, Gator. No, you stay there. Back. Hi, Gaye DeRusso, the Majestic rider, here today with Flyboy. He's the Rocky that was very pacey and could pace at the walk. So this is just a shorter update. I'll make a longer video next week. He now can walk really well, just the trail walk. I warm him up well, then I do the poles a whole bunch, and now I'm doing the whole arena routine. I usually teach all the horses, and today was the first day we did that. He did very well, and he stayed at his trail walk. He's not trying to pace anymore. He's not doing anything odd anymore that would make you think something's wrong with him, because in the beginning he did all sorts of weird stuff. His main issues are speed control. He doesn't know to stay the same speed. So that was one issue I had to fix. And I fixed it at the trail walk. And now I'm going to have to fix it at the flat walk. The other one, he can't move or come into my space unless I ask him. He's very cute, but he would be over here nudging and doing all sorts of stuff. So he has to learn to stay out of my space and just stand and behave. Now going back to the riding. So with the speed control, what he did in the beginning is I'd be walking and he would just squirt forward, okay? It's not like he was spooking or anything else. He just didn't know. And sometimes his body felt like we should go more forward. I can't hold it in this regular walk, and he would just squirt forward. So I did a lot of stopping and backing up in the very beginning. Then I used the poles, and then I stayed at a slow walk, and I taught him lateral flexion and vertical flexion, then just kept walking over the poles, letting him put his head down and sitting back, because occasionally he trips each time I ride him, usually just once, and that's normal for a young horse learning all these poles, because it's tiring and they have to pay attention. It's usually when he just spaces out, but he catches himself very well. So if you have a young horse that's tripping but they catch themselves very well, it's usually they're not paying attention, or their toes are long. I have eyes in the back of my head. Now, if he keeps doing it, we're going to do it harder each time to make sure he doesn't want to come forward. If you do it too light, a lot of times they'll just keep coming back in your space. So after I did all the arena work and gave him a break, we went to the flat walking. I went right back to the poles. And so I started trying to ask for more speed by pushing back and forth with my seat and using my legs, but not a lot of leg, because again, he thinks he's supposed to squirt forward. And then over time, I tried to push for more and more. I did that 5 minutes each direction, and then also walked around the arena. And then I put the camera on at the end, which you'll see, just to catch some of it. And so he did very well, but he went back to the same thing where he would squirt forward a little bit. He's like, you like this? I'll give you more. And then he would try to go into the pace. And I'm like, no, stay the same speed I put you at. So that's a difficult thing with gaited horses, is many do not stay the same speed, and they don't stay the same speed because people have just taught them to go faster and faster. So a lot of times when you're having problems, you have to go back and teach them, stay the speed I put you at and don't go any faster. So as I did the flat walk and I did it over the poles helped and were pretty good. And then when I went outside the poles, when he got faster, I half halt. If he really squirted forward, I stopped, backed up, and went back to flat walking again. Now, his flat walk, when you see this video, you might look and be like, that's not a flat walk. It is for him. That's the best he can do at this point in time. If I push for too much speed, he's going to go right in the pace, and then that's not going to benefit him at all. So he just needs to go a little faster than his trail walk at this point. And then next week, I'll probably have a little bit more speed, and so on it goes. But if you start and try to get too much, too fast, too soon, you will fail if you're doing this naturally, okay? So I had to teach him the speed control. The other thing that he has that's a problem and is a normal young horse thing that would happen with Cayenne too, is he gets distracted very easily. See, I turned around and pointed at him and he's like, oh, we're done. I can come over. I'm like, no, I'm just pointing at you. I didn't tell you to come over. So he's got to learn to just stand there until I pull him into my space. But what he did is I went around the arena and there were farm workers out there. There were people walking by. Every time they walked by, he brought his head up, tensed up, looked at what they were doing and forgot what we were doing in the arena. And that's when he would get more towards the pace. So all I did was bump on the rein. I just kind of go like that to get his attention back and go, ah, ah, ah. That's to get his attention and tell him, no, I don't like that. I don't like using the word no because it sounds like ho, which also sounds like whoa, and I don't want them to get confused. So I like to go to get their attention back and tell them, no, we're not doing that. So anytime you hear that in the video, it means he's picking up speed or he's not paying attention, and that's what's happening. So over time, he'll understand what that word means, and he'll stop looking around the arena. You can't get them to gait and focus on their gait if you're letting them look all over the place. If you let them look all over the place, they're going to change their gait, they're going to change their speed, they're going to trip, and they might fall because they're not paying any attention to what you're doing in the arena. So remember, if you're trying to get gait, first you got to get them to walk with 4 beats, and that's got to be clean, and they got to stay the same speed. They got to be able to do that whole arena workout that I have because it has everything in it you need to supple the horse and get them better. He's worse to the right, so I'm doing more to the right than I am to the left to even him out. Then once you can do that arena routine at the walk, keeping the same speed, not having any issues, and they understand all of it, that's when you can start going on to your flat walk. But there's no point doing your flat walk if they can't understand all those things, because as you go faster and you try to get the next gait after that and the next gait after that, it will start falling apart and they'll be pacing or trotting because they don't understand. They don't understand where to put their head. They don't understand what frame to be in. So as I got talking and focused, you saw he got right up behind me. So that's why I backed him up a whole bunch and tapped him with my stick like, no, you stay back there. But again, people allow them to do that. He doesn't know it's wrong, but I have to correct him. And then the owner will have to stay on his case as well if they want him to be, a good horse. You let a horse do that and it comes up and bites you, it's probably because you're letting them too much in your space and they think you're a friend, not the leader, okay? So again, going back to it, if you can't do all those movements and you want to do this naturally, that leg yield, that shoulder in, the backup, the steering, the patterns, the bending, all of that helps you to get that horse supple, to help you with its gait, to have the speed control. And then as you go faster, you'll have tools to use to help your horse not go into the pace or the trot. But if you don't have those tools, you don't have anything to help you, and you don't have a way to communicate to the horse, like, that's not what I want, and I need more leg separation, or I need your legs closer together because you're trotty. So you really got to have a toolbox to work with them if you're going to do this naturally without the long feet and the heavy shoes and those things. It takes time, but it's well worth it, because again, every time I see a horse that has those things and doesn't know the basics, as soon as somebody trims them normal or takes off the shoes, that horse is just pacing or trotting. Where if they were taught how to do it naturally, then doing those things like going from shoes to barefoot wouldn't be a big deal. But when you're using those things to help get their gait, you're always going to have to use those things, okay? I hope that helps for those of you who are trying to get your horse to gait naturally. Please like and subscribe. It helps, and follow the videos. And I hope this helps you to get your pacey horse to gait. It takes time and patience, but you'll get it if you keep trying.